The mysterious Dendenmushi call from Mosa to the imprisoned Loki appears to have a lot more behind it. Is this the key to understanding why the world government is absolutely terrified of what's happening in Elbaf right now? Road, a giant from Elbaf, had explicitly stated that pure-blooded ancient giants no longer exist. There's a massive difference between no longer and never did. This suggests that something way more significant than natural extinction had occurred to the ancient giants. What if ancient giants didn't die out naturally? What if they had been hiding in plain sight all along? Look at Harald and Loki. These aren't just giants with traces of ancient giant blood. Both of them possessed distinctive horns that define ancient giants, and Loki was born with demonic eyes and features that are so distinctive that his own mother had tried to kill him rather than let him live. The evidence suggests that we're witnessing the awakening of ancient giant bloodlines that have been dormant for centuries within One Piece, and the world government appears to be threatened by this revelation. The established narrative claims that ancient giants had gradually died out, leaving only diluted bloodlines in the modern day giants. But let's examine what we are actually shown versus what we are told. According to Road, Harald possessed the trademark horns of ancient giants due to his lineage as a descendant of the ancient giant bloodline. The fact that he later ripped off these horns after witnessing his father's murder suggests the trauma of that event made him reject his ancient giant heritage entirely. This wasn't out of shame, but from association with the violence that claimed his father's life. Loki's birth proves that ancient giant traits can manifest completely in the modern era. Loki was born with the distinctive horns and demonic eyes that mark ancient giant bloodlines, plus with strength that was so immense that as a newborn he could survive falls that would kill normal giants, and he was able to defeat massive monsters. Even his own mother Estrid was so terrified by his appearance that she immediately tried to murder him. Here's the crucial detail: Hajruddin, sharing the same father, was born as a completely normal giant without any ancient giant features. This proves that these traits don't automatically pass down, as they appear when specific genetic conditions align. Also think about it, the world government's centuries-long obsession with gigantification research would make no sense if ancient giants were naturally extinct. The world government's behavior around giants reveals that they understand something about ancient giant genetics that they're desperately trying to control. Their gigantification research isn't about creating new giants, it's about artificially triggering ancient giant transformations. The Numbers, who are a group of artificially produced ancient giants within Kaido's crew, are proof of this alone. They represent the attempts of the world government to recreate ancient giant characteristics through experimentation. These artificial ancient giants were deemed as failures, but they still possess equivalent size and strength to the original race. Caesar Clown's child gigantification experiments follow the same pattern. The world government has been trying to unlock ancient giant potential in their own controllable experimental subjects for centuries, but all of their attempts have been considered to be failures compared to natural occurrences of ancient giants. Now here is what is terrifying them: natural ancient giant awakenings are happening without their control. Harald's development of ancient giant features, followed by Loki's birth with even more pronounced characteristics, suggests that the ancient giants are born via genetic expressions that cannot be predicted or prevented. The timing of the God Knight's invasion of Elbaf directly links with Loki's imprisonment period ending. They're not just trying to control one island here, they are attempting to prevent ancient giant bloodlines from reaching some kind of critical threshold. Big Mom's obsession with giants and her belief that gaining their allegiance would make her pirate king reveals how powerful even normal giants are. Big Mom had believed that an alliance with the giants of Elbaf would have allowed her to defeat the other three Yonko. Imagine what properly manifested ancient giants would be able to accomplish. The God Knight's desperate mission to kidnap Elbaf's children isn't a random act of terrorism, it's a targeted attack against the next generation of potential ancient giant manifestations before they are allowed to be developed fully. They are desperately trying to control the genetic pool of the giants of Elbaf. Based upon dialogue patterns and the emotional undertones in Loki's conversation, Mosa is most likely Ida. This is Hajuruddin's mother, and the woman who transformed Harald from a warmongerer into a diplomatic king. Ida is a giant from the South Blue, the same region as Jaguar di Sol. This suggests that she comes from giant communities with different perspectives than Elbaf's warrior culture. Her ability to humble Harald and guide his transformation from a low-life scumbag into a beloved king highlights wisdom beyond typical giant knowledge. If she is in fact Mosa, then the timing of her call during the God Knight's invasion isn't by coincidence. It's a motherly figure reaching out to someone that she's been watching from afar. Remember, Ida had accepted Harald's forced marriage to Estrid and Loki's status without any bitterness. She was understanding of the broader political pressures that Harald had faced. Ida calling Loki specifically makes sense if she recognizes what he represents, as he is the first successful natural manifestation of ancient giant characteristics in generations. Having seen Harald struggle with his heritage and the trauma that led him to reject his ancient giant features, she appreciates what Loki must be going through. The conversation's tone suggests someone who cares about Loki personally, not just strategically. Ida would have that emotional connection as she watched Harald's ancient bloodline manifest. She saw how it affected their family dynamics, and now she sees Loki facing similar challenges while he is imprisoned. Her survival and ability to contact Loki secretly does highlight that she's maintained connections outside Elbaf's official channels. Loki is a naturally occurring ancient giant who has characteristics that surpass even his own father's development. Estrida's reaction to Loki's birth wasn't just disgust, it was recognition of features that marked him as possessing the blood of ancient giants. Her attempt to kill him stemmed from superstitious fear, calling him cursed and declaring he would bring destruction upon the world. The scale of Loki's infant abilities do defy normal explanation. As a newborn, he survived being thrown from the sun world to the underworld. He defeated a giant bear by decapitating it, and he climbed back up the treasure tree Adam with his bare hands. These feats replicate the legendary strength that is usually linked to ancient giants like Oz, who were said to have continent-moving power. Loki's demonic eyes, marked with the whites of his eyes being colored in black, this is a feature that has not been seen in any other giant, suggesting that he appears to have some unique capabilities. This explains how we instantly recognize that Shamrock wasn't Shanks despite their identical appearance. Loki's 8-year rampage through the New World resulted in him gaining a 2.6 billion bounty, the highest of any solo pirate without a crew or territory. The world government issued him a special bounty, and the reasoning behind it is currently unknown. This has led some to speculate that the world government has recognized him as an ancient giant. Loki's rejection of the God Knight's recruitment becomes major when viewed through his stated hatred of world nobles, as he refers to them as garbage and refusing to stoop himself down from a warrior to a trash level. Similar to Luffy, Loki also possesses this instinctive recognition of friend and foe. Let's turn our attention towards the God Knight's mission to Elbaf. I believe that this represents a panic level response to developments that they have been monitoring for decades. Their arrival, which coincides with Loki's imprisonment period ending, isn't just a coincidence, it's desperate timing. Loki was captured by Shanks 6 years ago and has been imprisoned ever since. This suggests that his development follows predictable patterns that the world government has been tracking. Imu's personal intervention through possessing Gonko reveals how seriously the world government is taking this threat. The technique used to transform Dory and Broggy into demons highlights the world government possessing methods to corrupt giant physiology. Imu-sama utilized the abilities Eikuwaru and Domi Reversi in order to transform them, granting them enhanced strength but with twisted minds. Because this transformation had occurred via external means, it appears as though Dory and Broggy lack natural ancient giant capabilities. Shamrock's specific resemblance to Shanks and his knowledge of Elbaf highlights the Figelin family has been dealing with giant-related issues for generations. Shamrock is of course Shanks' identical twin brother, and he is the commander of the God's Knights, suggesting that this isn't his first involvement with issues related to giants. The mission to kidnap Elbaf's children specifically targets the next generation before potential ancient giant traits are able to manifest. They were able to successfully capture 10 children, including Colin, preventing genetic developments in the upcoming generation. Luffy's instant connection with Loki highlights something that the world government has historically tried to prevent. This is humans allying with manifested ancient giant bloodlines. Luffy immediately defended Loki and even offered him a position in his crew despite warnings about Loki's dangerous nature. The ancient mural inside of Elbaf's Adam Tree that Ripley and Frankie discovered depicts wars between races during the Void Century, likely showing the original conflicts that established the current world order. The third world mentioned in the Harley text may be referring to an upcoming era where ancient giant capabilities return to influence global events. Vegapunk's broadcast warning about the Great War takes on new significance when considered alongside ancient giant awakenings. His message about the world heading towards conflict may prove that he understands that genetic patterns were approaching a threshold that would destabilize the current power structure of the world. The 3,000-year-old facility Lilith discovered predates known history by millennia, suggesting advanced ancient civilizations existed long before the Void Century. The age of this facility indicates that there is knowledge and capabilities which have been preserved in unexpected ways throughout Elbaf. Also, Loki's hammer strike on the Adam Tree created lightning, which started fires that were visible across the Sun world. This insane display of power resulted in massive environmental impact. These feats of power may trigger recognition responses within giants that have dormant ancient giant genetics. The world government's increasingly desperate measures, including Emu's direct intervention, God Knight's child kidnapping mission, all of this suggests that they are fighting against a timeline that they are struggling to control. Ancient giant awakenings may follow natural patterns that no amount of suppression by the world government may be able to permanently prevent. What do you guys think about this theory that some of the giants of Elbaf possess dormant ancient giant genetics that are naturally reawakening now after centuries of dormancy? Is the world government facing off against their greatest fear, which is power that stems from that 3,000-year-old ancient civilization that Lilith had discovered? I'd love to know all of your thoughts about this ancient giant reawakening theory. If there's anything that I've forgotten to mention, then let me know in the comments. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I cannot wait to see you in my next One Piece video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.